540Hz in CS2 is pretty crazy. The ASUS PG248QP comes with some insane motion clarity and response times, as we can see from these results that I got with the NVIDIA LDAT, but it also comes with some fairly heavy downsides which are very apparent as I've been using the monitor for about 3 months. Let's go through my experience. Starting off with the monitor stand, and with first glance it actually looks really bad, but you can actually change the shape quite well so it's not horrible, but still takes quite a lot of space on your desk. Overall, the stand is quite a bit worse than for example on the XL2566K, but you can fix it with a third-party stand. The monitor does have a native G-Sync module and some nice utilities, like for example the reflex latency analyzer is nice if you want to test your end-to-end latency. You also get ULMB2, which gives you insane motion clarity like well shown in Optimum Tech's video, but the user experience is not the best with it. For example, if I alt-tab out of the game, the ULMB2 gets disabled, and when I alt-tab back into the game it doesn't get re-enabled. This is really irritating, at least for me, and another thing that is really irritating is how inconsistently it works if you set it up from the NVIDIA drivers. You can set this option as game specific, but most of the time it just does not get enabled when I go into a game. But when you actually enable the ULMB2 by yourself from the monitor when you're in a game, it's amazing. You should check out Optimum Tech's video if you want to see how good it looks, but from my experience it's very good on the PG248QP. On the 27AQN I could not really even use the ULMB2 because it was too dim, but there are no such issues with this monitor. So the ULMB2 is for sure great if we ignore all the usability issues, and comparing it against Diac Plus on the XL2566K, I do not really see a difference. Again, Optimum Tech has some insane content about this and shows how the ULMB2 is better, but it's mostly more clear on some details, and that's not really something that is too helpful when it comes to competitive games. So let me draw you a demonstration where there is an enemy model that is moving, and with the ULMB2 everything is clear, like for example the nose, the eyes and the mouth of the enemy, but that's of course not something that you first see on a competitive scenario, and what's actually important are the outlines. And the outlines are pretty much just as sharp on both of these technologies. And that's where the difference of these two monitors can actually be mostly made on the customization, where for example the PG248QP does not have a sharpness option at all. And even the colors and such are pretty hard for me to customize the way I would want. For example, the G-Sync esports mode is completely unusable for me because it's way too vibrant. Then again, the racing mode that I actually use looks really nice in terms of colors after some customization. And it was actually fairly easy to customize to my liking, and the colors look great, especially for a TN panel. But overall the XL2566K still wins in terms of configuration. But the one thing that the XL2566K does not have is the native G-Sync module. And G-Sync can prove to be useful if you can't run games consistently at around 500 FPS. But to be clear, you should not be getting this monitor unless you play Valorant, CS2 or Overwatch. I myself get about 600 to 400 FPS in CS2 depending on the map, and it's not super consistent for me, so I do drop under 500 quite often. It's not something that bothers me in-game though, and I'm still using ULMB2 without any noticeable tearing. And I do enjoy the experience, especially compared to G-Sync, which I do not enjoy at all in CS2. But with or even without ULMB2, CS2 has been an absolute pleasure with this monitor. The motion clarity is exceptional and it does provide a smoother experience than 360Hz. So this is pretty much the best monitor that I've tried for CS2, even though I do not enjoy all the configuration options and I do have those troubles setting or keeping the ULMB2 on. But however good I think the PG248QP is, or however good my experiences with it are, the differences with the XL2566K are so small that it's impossible for me to recommend this monitor at this price. It's around $900 in the US and about 1,100 euros in Europe. So very close to PG248QP, which is an amazing 1440p 360Hz monitor. My PG248QP is now fairly permanently in its storage box, and I think I'm gonna rotate with this and the XL2566K. As for CS2, this size and 1080p just for some reason feel better. Thank you guys so much for watching, hope you enjoyed the video and see you in the next one.